So, with Jackson Hole Symposium 2022 in mind, is Powell willing to risk a recession? That's the question markets need to know. Now, we hope that Jerome Powell will have a chance, if he wants to take it, to reset expectations on the financial markets when central bankers meet this week at their annual retreat on Friday, 25th to 27th of August. Powell will talk about the economy on Friday at 10 a.m. Washington time. He is expected to repeat that the Fed is determined to keep raising interest rates to get inflation under control, but he probably wouldn't say how high officials will go when they meet in September, although there are three possible scenarios: hawkish, dovish, or neutral Fed. So this goes without saying that the question we all want to know is how much will Powell try to control the economy. We are at a point where the economy is starting to slow down. If we don't see more slowing in the data and things instead a bounce back and forth, the Fed will have to manage the economy more actively and more aggressively. Very much expected. Now let's quickly have a look what happened in the last two meetings and what we can expect in this one. Headline inflation was 1.3% and core PCE was 1.5%. Unemployment rate was 8.4%. Total employment was 141 million, about 11.5 million fewer than in February. With these figures, Powell announced a subtle change in the Fed's monetary policy. In 2021, when it comes to inflation, headline CPI was 5.2%, core PCE was 3.6%, unemployment rate was 5.2%, total employment was 147 million, about 4.5 million fewer than in February pre-COVID. With these figures, inflation was no longer below the Fed's 2% target, far from it. Core PCE had shot up to an annualized rate of 3.6% in August 2021, compared to just 1.8% only a few months earlier. Throughout early 2021, Fed officials insisted that rising prices were transitory. Now, fast forward today, when it comes to inflation, headline CPI is 8.5%, core PCE is 4.8%, unemployment rate is 3.5%, total unemployment is 152.5 million, about 32,000 more than in February pre-COVID. So what is most likely Fed's next move? As per economists, and I'm certainly not an economist, I'm just sharing what makes sense to me as a non-economist, the Fed's only goal is to keep inflation from becoming a part of the economy. That's their ultimate goal. So Powell is likely to say again that he wants interest rates to go up, even though GDP has been in the red for the first half of 2022. Now, the Fed wouldn't want to make the same mistake today after missing inflation by so much last year. Onto markets and crypto markets specifically, the prices of Bitcoin, altcoins, and stocks show how worried investors are about the Fed's plans to raise interest rates. Investors are worried that Fed Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell could say more about the Fed's hawkish stance and plans for future interest rates hike, the most possible scenario likely to happen. What can really surprise the market? One thing Powell is most likely to say, as per last 2 years' data, that would shock the market is that the Fed Reserve isn't afraid to do more big hikes if it turns out that inflation isn't going down as they want it to. Now, one reason why the markets have been so crazy in the last few weeks is because that CPI report showed that prices did not change from one month to the next. But what needs to take place? It needs to fall. It cannot stop growing. What do you think is Fed's most likely move? Would it continue to be hawkish, dovish, or neutral?